A very good morning and welcome to our very first in a two-part series of the Gauteng Women in Tourism webinar this morning. My name is Anele Mtsikwa. I am from Destination Marketing at the Gauteng Tourism Authority, and I will be facilitating the session for the next hour and a half. We are hosting you today at a time where the month of August, as we all know, nationally celebrated as Women's Month, draws to a close. And if you could please allow me to take the time to pay a special tribute to all the women of this country and to those who have also taken the time to join in on this webinar. I hope it has been an exceptionally happy Women's Month for you all. And because this is a webinar platform, we are very privileged, thanks to technology, to have attendees from all over the country and the world. And we are really grateful for your attendance. As we look forward to having your insights, your contributions, and learning from each other, I would just like to present a few house rules for this session. My humble request is that you please mute your mics throughout the session so that I give our panelists a chance to be audible. We will have the opportunity for questions and comments at the end of the discussions. But during the presentations, you are more than welcome to submit your comments and your questions on the Q&A section below, and we will engage with them once given the opportunity at the end of the presentations. But also, please feel free to share on our discussions on social media. We are at Visit Gauteng on Twitter and Instagram, and I Love Gauteng on Facebook. You can use the hashtag GP Tourism Women Engage. GP Tourism Women Engage. Now, the Gauteng Women in Tourism webinar is hosted under the theme Sustainable and Creative Solutions for Women in the promotion of Destination Gauteng. The session is also happening really at a time where we're finding ourselves under massive uncertainty in all areas of the economy. The world is trying to adjust to the ongoing impact of COVID-19. And indeed, one of the devastating things that the COVID-19 pandemic has exposed is the vulnerability of women in the economy. And this is partly because the majority of women who are economically active are in the services sector. And we may know that the sector has been hardest hit by the pandemic. And the tourism sector as well is also one such sector which has been devastated. And as concentrated as they are in these vulnerable positions in the sector, it's easy to see why women have become the largest casualty of the constrained business environment. So it therefore became quite evident really that part of what needs to be our focus in our discussions is really when it comes to the tourism sector recovery plan, what is the issue, the issues around gender? Top of mind should be gender equality and gender mainstreaming. And this issue should really find expression in the plan so that the recovery can be gender inclusive as well. The discussions today therefore will focus on what tweaks or pivots may need to be considered in order to remain relevant, top of mind and profitable, and to ultimately see those women-owned tourism businesses through these tough times. Today we are joined by three dynamic women in the Gauteng tourism trade industry. They will be participating as panel members during the discussion, and they've brought great impact in the tourism industry, both locally and internationally. They are business owners, they are tour operators, tour guides, and accommodation owners. And I guess in the aim of showcasing resilience of female entrepreneurs and professionals within the sector, they will be giving insight on how they've made it through the COVID-19 challenges. They'll be sharing what has worked for them during this time, as well as a platform to motivate our women in tourism to take care of themselves really while surviving the devastating consequences of the pandemic and the associated lockdown period. But I think lastly and most importantly, the discussion today aims to celebrate and to put a spotlight on women in our travel community as we share their successes, their knowledges, and their experiences. So as I introduce our panel members, could they show themselves on video so we can meet you? And if you can, please wave your hand.
Hello.
We have an education tours and school groups tour operator, Ms. Kosi Zigalala. Kosi, can we see you?
Hello, everyone.
We have the owner of Mopani Lodge, which is located in Dinokeng in Tshwane, Ms. Solani Mtetwa.
Good morning, everyone.
And then lastly, we have Ms. Mal Klapi, who owns a tour operating company called Soweto Travel Shop and Malprods SA.
Good morning.
Hello and welcome. I welcome you ladies and thank you so much for agreeing to be a part of this. Now, without wasting any further time, to kick off really on the discussions. I mean, as I've said, in the past few months, the situation globally here and also here at home has been highly uncertain. Really, the pandemic has been devastating for the tourism sector, and we saw how it has forced the closure of many small and medium businesses. It slashed a huge percentage of income in the businesses that continue to operate and put many, many jobs at risk. And knowing that the ever-growing tourism industry in South Africa is one of the country's biggest contributors for both jobs and revenue, and more so that thousands of these positions in the tourism sector are filled by women. Now, hearing particularly on this demise on women, I'd like to call on Solani. Solani, you're a female entrepreneur, you're a CEO, you're a co-owner of a lodge, you're a GM of a tourism organization in Dinokeng. One would say that there's a lot that keeps you busy, and I think those of us that do know you certainly know you to be a very self-driven person, one who will stop at nothing to finish what you've started. In the face of COVID-19 and a sector coming to a halt, surely there must have been some major challenges there. I'm going to hand over to you to perhaps enlighten us on what were those challenges from both a tourism trader and being a female in the industry, and how is it that now coming into the reopening of tourism, you're finding yourself still standing? And what are some of those lessons that you will be taking into the reopening of the tourism sector? Solani?
Thank you so much. And thank you to the viewers as well as the organizers. As she's already alluded, my name is Solani Mtetwa, the owner of Mopani Lodge, co-owner of Mopani Lodge and the CEO. To answer your questions, I'll just give a brief of the business I'm in, then I'll answer your questions in my presentation, if you allow me to do that.
Absolutely.
Okay. As the owner of Mopani Lodge, which is situated in a tranquil and central area of Dinokeng in Tshwane, it's about an hour's drive from the airport, and it's easy to access the other hubs within the area, which has got great attractions for tourism, which is like your Rhodeplat Dam, Game Reserve, and Cullinan. I'm situated in the central area where it's easy to access all these attractions that we have within the space in tourism. I'll give you a brief of what we offer at Mopani, so that when I give you the challenges that we are faced, as you have asked, and the recovery, you understand what am I recovering from and what were the challenges. We have 5 safari tents, 20 rooms for self-catering, 10 chalets, 12 dormitories, 2 pools, 1 heated, 1 normal. We've got 5 conference halls and 1, which is the biggest, it accommodated 1,000 people prior to COVID, of which now it's going to be something of the past. 6 classrooms and 4 breakaway rooms. We've got electrified campsites and caravan sites. We've got wedding venue and conference venue where you can choose between indoor and outdoor. I prefer mostly outdoor because we've got the beautiful scenery of nature within this tourism sector. We've got also activities within the business which is outdoor. We've got mini golf, wall climbing, obstacle course, and other activities like when you do leadership training, conflict management, leadership skills, so we can cater for you on those games within the farm. Activities around us that are being affected as well, because when you come to us, you can't just come and sleep. You have to see the beauty of Dinokeng in Tshwane, what's happening. We are 30 minutes away from Dinokeng Game Drive, where we organize for you to go and see the Big Five in a malaria-free area, where a lot of people, when they have uncertainty about animals and malaria, we are free in Dinokeng, where you can come and do self-drive or guided tour. We are moving with times on digital marketing, where we've got a virtual ranger. So you can use the virtual ranger to assist you finding the animals. So within the area as well, we've got fishing in Rooiplaat Dam, rowing, bird watching, which is 15 minutes away from Mopani Lodge. There are cultural villages, heritage sites, like the Ndebele village in Komchegechege. When you are visiting us, you can go through and see that. So as women, we can see that the beauty of our Tshwane and Dinokeng has got a lot to offer for us. In Cullinan, we've got the biggest hall, which is 4 times bigger than the one in Kimberley, which is less marketed. We have to make sure that we market it so that we are able to show what we have. And we've got the mine, which has got the biggest diamond, 3.1 carat, which is bigger, which is found in the world. It's not only in Africa or in South Africa. So worldwide, we found the biggest stone in the area. You can just come and see what's happening, and other historical places that you can come and view within the space of Dinokeng. The question was the impact that we had. More revenue has been lost, as you've alluded. Cancellations took place, everyone was scared. Quarter 1 and quarter 2, we're supposed to have more revenue, but we find ourselves here nothing. Operating expenses like electricity, municipal insurance, being at debt for especially someone who are not ready with their equity to cater for such, as it was not planned for. The inability to top up for staff members earning below minimum wage. And then the COVID affected business meetings as well, because now people are exposed to virtual meetings like Zoom, as we are in now. Increase in PPE and staff uniforms, which were not budgeted for. We thank the tourism sector that has done the tourism relief, but people like Mopani could not get due to the turnover, which is above 5 million, and the funds were not that sufficient. She asked about challenges that we're facing and find ourselves in as women. Cultural diversity and resistance of being led by women, especially African women, it's been a challenge. Men would not like to take instructions from women. However, if you want to be in business, and as a woman, you must understand that you have to work on thinking environment whereby you have inclusive and you use equality so that you can work hand in hand with them, because you need their skill. As a woman, you've got power, but you have to work hand in hand with men. So that has been a challenge. Security has always been a challenge in our country due to the high employment rate. Survey indicates that 22% of travelers are now ready and prefer self-catering, which reduces the income that we used to get from meals when we prepare meals. So that's one of the other challenges that we are having now. High cost of takeaways. Remember now, as we are trying to recover, we have to look at the risk of using the same spoon that my sister has used. The saliva that is in there will perceive it as a risk. So takeaways has to take place. Now, e-menu, whereby you have to communicate more with your guests to give them menu beforehand. So those are the challenges that they're asking questions. I enjoy buffet, and buffet is a thing of the past. Group accommodation of more than 50, which we've been surviving on, is a thing of the past, whereby now we are unable to cater for them. Some guests are resistant in adhering to the protocol, so we have to be strong enough to ensure that we comply, and we make them comply by giving them enough time before arrival for induction and know the do's and don'ts and adhere to the new normal. We have to look at the mitigation factor and the recovery. The stats or the survey that has been done prove that 42% of the travelers would prefer to travel, but not to be in a congested place or congested area. Fortunately, we are in a tranquil area. We are able to cater for that. Our guests are ready to travel. They need a break from lockdown. They've been sitting longer with this uncertainty. However, assurance for safety and compliance of the COVID-19 protocols should be provided to ensure that we don't have any errors, to make sure that when they come, they don't have any issues or they're getting sick because we are not compliant. The increase of self-catering units has to be an issue because people prefer to have their own food. Currently, most people prefer their own food due to not being sure whether they're eating food that has been prepared accordingly. But we are ready for the tourism to ensure that we prepare food that is up to the standard and hygiene is being followed accordingly. To prove that the recovery is taking place, Dinokeng Game Reserve itself, I'm not talking about other areas. On Women's Day, they had 500 day visitors while observing the protocol. Don't think 500 people came the same time and same, so it was like the staggering of the people made to be 500. So that shows that we are ready for tourism. The plan that we have is to make sure that staff members are being trained under the new regulations. She asked the question that how did we survive in this situation? Some of the staff members that are staying within the business, we started a vegetable garden during the lockdown, aiming for agritourism than sitting and looking at the challenges. We had to look at other things that we are able to do. We focused on collaborating with other women in tourism, ensuring that their businesses are compliant. I'll give an example. We had some business women in tourism that were not compliant in order to get maybe their TERS to apply for that. As women, we were working together in ensuring that those who've got skill, for instance, I've got skill of helping businesses in ensuring that they comply. So some of them they were approaching, so we're working together to ensure that they do apply for the TERS, and then they are able to get the tourism relief. So it's been showing that as women, we can work together and take ourselves to the next level. And in the organization called LEAD, there's a lot of women that we're using the issue of empowering each other. And we can see that in tourism, we can take this to the next level and share skill. For instance, sharing the skill in this recovery. If Mopani doesn't have a spa, as we do not have, asking a person that has got a similar business to bring the spa at Mopani than chasing away the business, it means we can collaborate and work together to achieve and be the contributors to the economy of this country. Enhancing the communication with the travelers so that they can comply has been part of the recovery. Focusing on digital marketing, social media videos, so that people can understand what's happening, because sometimes when you're sitting in lockdown, you don't know what's happening out there, but people have started to see that there's a need to go out and it's safe to go out as we are trying to make sure that we read, we get all the protocols from all the industries like TBSA, your FEDASA, and all the other industries that are trying to ensure that as we recover, we are not a risk to the community and the guests as well. We realize that in our recovery plan, we have to make sure that young women and influencers play a role as well in marketing tourism because it's got a potential. The opportunities that we have, we cannot always complain. We can say Gauteng, Tshwane has got a lot of attractions that a lot of people don't know. What we just need is just to market and have a big awareness of what our region can offer. We've got tourist attractions like dams. We've got a dam. We've got animals, which is Big Five. We've got museums. We've got outdoor activities. So why are you sitting there and being confused what to do? You are stressed with lockdown. Come out and see as a woman with your family, with your children. Come out and see what opportunities do you have. You don't have to go down to Durban or go wherever. Within your region, you are able to see a lot of things. If you need more information, tourism department can also offer you. You can check us on the Gauteng tourism organization website. You will find out that there's a lot of things that can happen within Gauteng and Tshwane as well. Because as I'm talking of an area in Gauteng, but Tshwane is big. So as women, as the domestic travelers, we've got an opportunity to explore and ensure that we recover our economy and we put bread on the table for our children. So for us at Mopani, it's easy to access all these activities within because we are a few minutes away from all these areas like your Gauteng, your Roodeplaat and Cullinan. Being a GM of Gauteng Tourism, marketing the destination, it has enhanced my understanding of marketing. It has put me in a place where I'm not locked in mind. I work in collaboration with other people. I don't see other women as a competitor. I look for opportunities. What is it that I can benefit from the next woman than thinking it's only me? If there is a woman that I have to ask to take the tour to Cullinan, I have to engage that woman. I'm not a tour operator. So I work hand in hand with tour operators as women. They go take my guests from here. I've benefited with the accommodation. I've benefited with the meals. I'm empowering another woman to take those guests to the activities that we have within the area because I cannot wear all these hats. But by working hand in hand with other women, we can take the tourism to the next level as we recover. Platforms like ShortLab to promote domestic tourism, it's been helping, and other social medias like Agapo, we are using them to ensure that we are being promoted. To add on the opportunities as African women in tourism, the economy has always been serviced by women for as a woman because they're able to take care of starting there. All hotel, the industry, women cleaning, cooking, and then if they can be empowered to formalize their businesses, they can excel in the industry. Women became redundant as opportunities were not created to formalize their businesses and have positive thinking for them. So lack of funds hinder women from venturing into tourism. But we always have things like Stockfair. If we can work together and see what opportunities that can come in to ensure that women are being empowered, we can take it to the next level for the tourism. As a woman, don't be intimidated by gender issue of the job or the role, but be positive and be assertive without challenging men, because you need them to work with them. But it doesn't stop you from leading and having that role. Women are best in multitasking and play a leadership role in achieving dreams. We've seen that. There's too many people that are single women, they make it. they bear doctors, they bear people like us. So what stops them is just that they are not being formalized. So if we can be formalized, we can move with the skill and the business ideas which can be shared amongst ourselves. So women in tourism just need to complement each other and find themselves supporting each other. I would give an indication as to how I survived. When I entered into this industry, I didn't look at myself as a competitor. I looked at it as myself as somebody who's going to be enhanced within the industry. And I found myself with different cultures, especially whites around me, knowing that Gauteng is an Afrikaans, majority is Africans in the area. To my surprise, because I've been positive and having a dream that I've been getting more support. I attracted more support within the area than having negative support. They've been supporting and trying to make sure that we can work hand in hand. Even women within the tourism, black, white, we've been working together. So it's been an interesting journey, and this is an opportunity to show that our country can benefit and enter into a relationship which is great to contribute towards the GDP of the country by women working together. We just have to be comfortable of our ability and take bold steps, but being humble and having that ability to learn from others, because if you think you know everything, you might stumble on the road. As women, we have to have the product knowledge and know, because most of us, we belittle tourism industry instead of taking it that it's a profession on its own. As an accountant, initially I felt intimidated when I used to find myself in a stand trying to market. But when I look bigger, I look at this is the best, and a great tourism industry is the best because your job is to put a smile in somebody else's face. So you're working towards putting a smile to somebody else's face. So how difficult can that be if you are trying to achieve the goal? So women should not be afraid to venture into any business, but ask and have that passion. Female guides have equal opportunities in this industry. Why am I saying this? Gauteng has got guides because we've got game rangers, we've got guides that can take our guests. That does not mean it has to be male only. If you come to Gauteng, it's not only male that are venturing into that space. So everyone has an opportunity. You can get accredited to be a guide. The use of technology for conferencing. It's important that even though we can see that we are limited for meetings up to 50, we can do streamlining where the few people can be in the venue and the rest can work on the streamlining to see the event that is taking place anyway. So if you come to Gauteng as well, you can use the Game Ranger app. By downloading it, it will guide you through if you don't want to be guided. Digital marketing platforms and reduction of flyers will help us to revive this industry and use the live videos. The beautiful, let's keep the benefit of our destination. Domestic tourism is the way to go, and women can excel in this sector. We need to encourage women to grow their businesses in tourism and enhance tourism stock sales with our communities. Have more business showers than baby showers. There's power in collaboration. If you want to walk fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, walk with others. Then you can see the power of women. Thank you.
17.
Thank you so much.
Any questions?
You know what, you're absolutely right. I personally couldn't agree with you more. have more business showers and less baby showers. But yes, you're absolutely right. I think looking ahead, the recovery of the sector really presents a golden opportunity for tourism to build on the huge strides forward in women's empowerment. You mentioned also women collaborations and elevating really female employees' recovery efforts by boosting that entrepreneurship and by and career progression. And my thoughts are that, you know, tourism's economic recovery will need to provide an opportunity to have more women in those leadership positions and in business. And more women at this point really should be the ones designing and implementing those recovery programs, which offer opportunities for the progression as this recovery gathers pace. But I also want to ask you there, Sonani, you know, evidently you're finding yourself in an industry, operating in an industry where gaming, safari is an industry that's male dominated, and great strides are yet to be made there for gender inclusion. And you did mention that males, you know, don't necessarily want to hear from a woman. Do you think more could be done then perhaps to encourage more women to pursue careers in that industry, say as a safari guide, and also where does one start?
Definitely, the role of a woman can be given the opportunity to be a guide. You just have to get accreditation through CATSITA, and then you'll be able to guide. What you need to do when you are a woman in a male-dominated environment, you just have to be positive, humble yourself, but don't stop to be assertive, and then work with them. Working in collaboration and not thinking women are super more than men, you will be able to do that. But especially in the African culture, women that are in the guided tour and the game ranges. So if marketing can be done in that to empower them so that they can have structured business to do that.
No, absolutely. I want to move on to Kosi, and Kosi, if you could perhaps show yourself on camera. I want to get into yourself as a female who owns a business based in the township. I mean, you've been thriving in the tourism industry for the past 12 years. Yeah, tell us more on your experience with that, and how have you seen more specifically the role of women in township tourism changed since you joined the industry? Are there any remarkable stories that you can share with us from along the way?
Okay. Sanbonani futhi, good morning, Zimbogoto. Thank you so much, Anele. Thank you too from Gauteng Tourism, and thanks to all the women around in the world. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to talk about myself, and I'm so glad that I was one of the people that were chosen around in Gauteng to talk about business, to talk about women in tourism. I've been in the industry for 12 years. When I started this, I started as volunteering. I didn't know anything about tourism, but one of the two gentlemen, they introduced me to tourism. So I started volunteering, and my mother also took me to school so that I can do tourism. And then from there, I freelanced from different companies so that I can know more about tourism. After that, that's when I started, and me and my brother, to open a business of tourism because of in us, we saw an opportunity where it's a township, which is a Kaslami Soweto, so that people can learn more, because most of the people, they don't know what is tourism, what does tourism do. So when we started this, we started with corporate, we started with families, we started also with international guests. But as time goes on, we saw with a township, all the townships around, there are no women in tourism, and our kids, they learning this at school. So we thought, okay, let us come out with new packages. Let us go out and tell people about a different thing of tourism. Because of when we started, we thought it's all about tourism, but no, it wasn't. It's all about tourism and about passion and about love. Because what we do it out of enthusiasm, out of love, and that is why today, when you ask me about educational tours, about school tours, I can even tell you even if when I'm sleeping, because that's me. This is what I love, and this is what I miss for the whole of 2020, because of the kids. They miss me. I miss the kids also. So as one of the women around in the township, I played a big role, and I know it because of now most of the kids and the women around, as I was about to say, Gauteng tourism and other tourism industry also, they can support us in terms of youth, so that they can be more into tourism, because of they love into tourism, but they don't know what it's all about. So I encourage most of the people around in the township to do tourism, because I never thought it would be too easy for me, because of it was men dominating, and then the two men, they are the one who did introduce me to tourism, which I must do 1, 2, 3, and then I saw that I can do this, because of I didn't learn about tourism at school, but when in Muskati Masia, that's when I learned it. This is me, this is what I want. Then I went to school and taught myself. So I'm playing a big role, because of whatever chores that I do in the township, I give back to the community. After doing a tour, I go back to the schools, because the schools, they cannot do fundraising, because of most of the schools that we're looking at before, those were government schools. So they did not have enough money to raise funds, especially for the grade 1 and the grade 7. So whatever chore that I do at the end of the day, I give back to the school, which is a rebate. So that's one of the things that's from fast was also way to own the township, that I still say to myself, I've played a big role to my community, to Islamic, because today I know how to take Abantu all over the world, all over South Africa, and also the schools, to teach them, because I thought at the end of the day, I'll be the one who's teaching the kids about tourism, about respect, about love. But it's another way around. The kids are the one, they taught me how to love. Even if when the teachers, they call me or they send a WhatsApp again, you say, can we book you as the M2 tours? I know what I have to come out with it. I'm gonna come out in my home with a smile, because of, ladies, you can learn a lot from the kids. That is why I decided to go deep. I'm not saying I do not want corporate. I'm not saying I don't want international families. But for me now, I can do more to the community. Let me go out there and do this with my school kids. And then another thing also, we're seeing women, we are too afraid to open a business in tourism. No, for me now, we are not afraid, because this is an industry for everyone. It gives us an equality point to showcase the passionate about the industry, because of the men, they were dominating in the industry. And then they did not even see us the strongest way they can do this. That is why we're saying trust. We didn't have a trust as women in tourism, because of the women dominating. Other brothers, they did not see us as colleagues. They did not see us as sisters. They did not see us as mothers, but they saw an opportunity that if I'm going to travel with Kosi for 15 days, she can be my girlfriend. So those are some of the things that challenges for us as women. Another challenge that we have also is the one that schools, some of the schools, they are no longer calling us as tour operators, as tourist guide. They do amateurs for themselves, and they charging the kids money anything that the parents, they could not afford. And at the end of the day, they are not telling them their real history. They're not showing them the love of tourism. Because remember, in a classroom, not everyone career A1. We all have different careers at the end of the day. That is why, Mina, our tours that we do, they are tailor-made. They are edutainment tours. So that is why we are so different. And another thing that we do also that is different to other tour operators and other tourist guides. I'm a woman. You know what I do, what I love. I don't just send you a request. I don't just send you a quotation. I go to school. I do not market myself or our company through the internet. I go straight to schools and do the presentation so that what they see is what they get. So that is very much important. That is very much important as women to show ourselves and know what we want. Another thing that I want us as women to do is we must stop doing our ideas. We must follow those ideas because if we don't follow them, who's gonna do them? So in a tourism industry, they are short as our mama and as Mina. I will need our mama to come out there to own businesses around to do and show with tourism. It's not all about men. I never knew today, as 2020, I'll be sitting at home because Manje it's a women's month. I thought I'll be doing tours for women because it's women's month. But because this is my passion, this is what I love. I did follow the protocol of the COVID-19. On the 9th of August, I did 150 women, but they were not coming as 150 all in all. They came about 50, just to give back because this is what I used to do before COVID. So the challenge is even now, it's because of that tourism can look after as Tina Singama tourist guide. The tour leaders that are coming to our countries are gaining, are benefiting more than us as tourist guides. So I think if we can look at that also, because we are the one, the faces of South Africa. We are the one, the ambassadors of this country. So I'm thinking of from now on, let us start a tide, let us make plans as women and show up and raise our hand and show we can do this. In empowering, and empowering a small SMMEs in the township and also in the rural areas. They must also do that, and then also EU, especially women. I know I'm not saying that men are not allowed to do that. They can do that. But for me, for Manje, because there's this take a girl child to work. Can we do more workshops for women, especially in the township, and then also in empowering us. I'm so glad because of last year I was one of the women who was empowered, and then I became the second in the Lilizela Awards, and it was my first time of entering tourism awards, and because of the hope and the faith that I had, I never thought I'll be there. Let me tell you, ladies, they're out there. Out of 100 male, I was the only female. So this it shows you can do that as a woman. I was the second one in Gauteng, and then I told myself that I can do this. That in the next 5 years, I want to be one of the top operators in Gauteng. In South Africa, in Gauteng, I want to be one of the best. I want to own my own vehicle as a tour operator, as in Tunzini, because of, remember, as much as COVID, there are protocols that you need to do. And my packages as a Bantwana scholar, they'll be changing. And I know that most of the people, they've lost their jobs. I used to have 10 buses.
I can come in there, sorry. Back to, and you know what, I could not agree with you more there. I think the ladies even on this platform currently can absolutely see you've proven to show the resilience of women within the industry, despite the many challenges, whether societal, whether industry related, that we constantly face. But I also want to touch on to your COVID-19 story, you know, and there's a thread there. There's the schools that you touch on. So you primarily educational. I mean, you are responsible for literally taking away the classroom walls and allowing for a more hands-on exposure, I suppose, for the kids. Now, because of the COVID, we saw schools being closed for some time. With learners now going back to school, there's obviously now the pressures of pushing the academic year. Together now with, as you've quite rightly mentioned, the COVID-19 regulations that we are now need to adhere to. What challenges does that bring? And likewise, what are some of the opportunities that you're seeing around this time, especially where we are now forced to start embracing digital innovation? You know, our school tours going to go virtual. And I mean, we've seen now some of our own Gauteng attractions like Constitution Hill, like Lily's Leaf Museum, for example, are now going into virtual. Do you see perhaps within the education sector bringing more immersed experiences when it comes to tour operating? Is that on the cards for you as your own selling proposition as a business? Or do you still have a strong belief that giving a more physical experience is still far better for the kids?
Okay, thank you for asking me the question, Anele. I still have faith and hope we're still gonna do our physical tours when the COVID is over, but I'm not sure when. But for now, as I said it earlier, in my tours, as in now, we're gonna do digital. That's why now we need to teach our kids technology, because of now in a classroom. I know it won't be fun like before, so that they can be outside. We're trying with Manje to introduce projectors, so that they can have projectors inside the classroom, so that whenever taught that they choose, they can show it over there. The reason because it's going to be safe over there. Remember the kids when the school where they do tours, they taking about 200 to 250 kids in a day. So in one bus, it can take about 60 kids. So with that, we won't be following protocol. So as I'm saying, it's better when you do it in technology, because there'll be too much social distance inside the classroom, because of in part of the challenge is also another one. It's because of when masses or younger, even natural, they need to have a mask, like a clean mask. They need to have a bottle of water. They need to have a brown paper. The brown paper, and a brown paper is the one, because remember, some other kids, the good because of the meter, because of they're trying a long distance, or because of the party, and then amanye they eat a lot of sweets in the morning. So by doing the will miss that. Yes, I will miss that, or because of I'm this personal background. When I do my things, I want them to show me. So for me, it's a challenge, especially because of right now, what I do, most of the people, they won't see it. But I'm not saying people mustn't go from us. They can do that. And then we see what can we do, because now we are they can take less than 50 people that can do amateurs. So we also do shipping tours and family tours and amazing races and then also. So I would like also to thank people like you guys and the Black woman, that the Wanata people, that she's one of my mentors. I did not know she's one of the people that inspired me. Yeah, she owns white lions. I did not know that as a woman also you can also go into wildlife. So those are the people, and also people like who is in tourism also, who didn't even we did not even give her that chance to she was not part of the tourism. But now, because of she's a woman, I'm gonna go back to where I'm coming from, and not forgetting women with background, not forgetting you guys from Gauteng tourism, that also you did and not forget about us, even if no matter what we say or Badala, and pick up to that, and also remember we encourage other women to come on board, so that we can do more.
Yeah. Lastly, Kosi, in terms of recovery plans for you, we spoke of digitizing, platforms becoming more digital. You also spoke about support from both the private and the private sector and government. It's another critical factor, obviously, in making township tourism a success. Knowing some of the challenges that are being faced by township tourism proprietors, would you say that COVID-19, so to say, has provided a bit of a more reset button for you guys? That there's an opportunity for township tourism SMMEs to start doing things that they probably weren't able to do and provide more to the tourism scene? What is on the cards for you in terms of that development?
In terms of that development, Anele, as women around in the township, I do not want to lie, has taught us a lot, especially because of ladies in tourism and then also in Soweto tourism. The Soweto tourism is more both female and male, but they did come back as us as women in the township and saying that we need women now who can do this. So for us in the township, COVID-19 has taught us a lot. We have learned that, and then we want to learn more because of the other things, other opportunities. We did not see them because of COVID. So COVID-19, that's when we did say, we did say to us, let us do this, let us encourage one another, let us build 1, 2, 3, all of us. So in terms of ICASI and the Emma Township, we are still learning, and we have learned a lot so that we can take tourism very far. We thank the late Mam Nombego, who were also encouraging us to as Tina Abafazi, Basama Township, because we never thought with the township we have beautiful places that is why Namadi as women around in Soweto now, we are coming with new routes after COVID, so that people they can learn more about township here too. So that's one of the things that assists level COVID-19.
Thank you so much, Kosi. You've just given us a truly exceptional Bogoto story. It's one that really is inspiring, and I'm hoping that the attendees today are taking quite a lot from that story. I want to turn up the discussions, a gear up, and bring in Mel here. Mel, you are a hustleress. We know you to be a go-getter. I think you have provided a more unconventional approach to tour operating because you are also truly an avid traveler. Tell us more about your story as a young female in the tourism industry.
Thank you very much, Anile. Firstly, may I take this time to thank the Department of Gauteng for affording me this opportunity and platform to help the country celebrate women in our country. I really do appreciate it. As a woman in the industry that faces challenges and inequalities, it is always an honor to be recognized and deemed as an influential person in the industry. With that being said, I'd love to raise a glass to all of the women in the industry and say well done and congratulations on making it up to so far. And of course to the attendees as well, thank you so much for showing the support. It really means a lot to us as panelists. First and foremost, let me say I am Mel, for those that don't know me. I'm better known as Mel Prads SA, the Soweto Travel Princess. I made my debut in 2012 when I created a package for the Durban July. It was fun while it lasted, until other operators started catching on to the fact that it can be done, and I stopped and focused on outbound tourism. On outbound tourism, and Mozambique became my second speciality, and I swiftly moved on to Swaziland. Just like most women in the country, circumstances led me to work. It led me to work at an early age, and I had to learn on the street, on the go, very fast. And I have to say that the experience was exhilarating. It was fun. You'll be shocked. I run my own company. I do my own financials. I am a hustler, like you said, but I really do not have a degree behind my name. And this goes to show how diverse the industry is and how easy it is to get into the industry if you put your heart and mind to it. So it's safe to say that being unique in the industry and creating unconventional packages, travel experiences, aha moments, memories for the people that you serve, has really made Malprods SA thrive and be what it is currently today. I've never been one to do the norm. No rules apply to me. So if the South African, the South African Council were to come and say, girl, you're not following rules, I'm unconventional, I'm a woman, and in which world has rules ever existed, for women? And that's just basically who Mel is. And this works for me. I'm proud of where I am right now and who and what I have become in the industry. And because I indeed do work hard. And that's why I love where I am, and I love being unique. And that's basically who Malprods SA is.
Mal, apart from being a tour operator, you're very big on content creation as well. So you being a content creator, the past couple of months during the hard lockdown, the stay-at-home orders kept us in place. And you were obviously at the time not able to produce new travel content to sell. How was that experience, knowing that producing tourism content, in fact, has done for you as a young female tour operator, but also being a traveler and a mom as well under the lockdown? Because I can only imagine, I think for all of us that are women and moms in this webinar, we had our kids under lockdown was often something that was never really addressed. We never really had those platforms to say, how do we keep the kids busy? And on top of it, homeschooling, but also the pressures that you are a business owner that at that particular time you are not working and you're not creating the content and keeping as busy. How is that like for you?
The biggest challenge for me, Anele, is that I do not follow rules, and I consider it as a challenge because the confinement of being at home needs you to follow rules. So it was very difficult for me to be indoors. I'm an outgoing person. What the pandemic has made me realize, though, is that maybe a bit of structure is not such a bad thing. To sustain my brand. Tourism has done a lot for me. It has paid my bills. It's raised my kids. It's opened my eyes to a world of opportunities. I would defeat my industry mentors if I did not take this time to really look at what the industry, to do something good for the industry. I have had time to reflect, rework my business model, catch up with paperwork, and familiarize myself with new systems and technology, since we are entering into the new norm. And it also gave me time to find attraction in local and or domestic products, because I've never really been one to promote domestic and local products. So it's given me ample time to actually just look at what is available and what products are there that can still keep Malprods SA as unique as what I've built it to be. You'll be shocked. Being at home with my children, they've actually become an inspiration for one of the products that I currently am embarking on, which is Generation X Travel. It is a global hit. Children around the globe are traveling on their own without their parents and their mommies nagging at them. No, you can't go to the beach without sunscreen. But children are actually traveling on their own, and this is a market that needs to be tapped into, that we as South Africans need to look into, getting our children to travel on their own. I mean, as a mom in corporate, and you don't get leave all the time, but you want your child to be exposed to as much as possible. But do we have the tour operators or the travel companies and travel agencies that actually cater and are sensitive to child travel? That's something worthy of exploring as well. We've had neighborhood campouts. Our country is going through a lot at the present moment. We have so many issues that only tourism products can actually, resolve. And with the neighborhood campouts, what we actually do is we have a couple of tents. We put them out in the street. We camp out as parents. The children sit in the camps and they have an awesome time under the stars in the townships, in our streets, not in the hoods, you know. And we as parents then sit around a fire and we really discuss issues, pertinent issues that are affecting our country, affecting our children, and also creating awareness. And this was solely inspired by my daughter, my 14-year-old daughter, who was bullied at school and she didn't know what to do. So spending more time with her, it was an eye-opener for me. It also, the lockdown also, it made me to just look around what is not the norm. And we know that Vilakazi Street is the norm for entrepreneurs, for tour operators, for everyone that comes to that comes into Gauteng. But there are other gems, there are other legends. I've had the opportunity to be exposed to Ntate Enos Mafokate. Many of you will know his son, which is Arthur Mafokate. Ntate Mafokate is a legend on his own. He has an internationally worthy story that needs to be told. This is a person who's received accolades from the Queen of England herself, an internationally renowned and acclaimed and celebrated Black person who fought in apartheid just to become a horseback rider, a show jumper. How did we miss him as an industry? So what I'm trying to say is that the lockdown for me has allowed me to hit the restart button. It has allowed me to look at what is local, what is niche. And with that, I have to say, I'm glad now I have 2 more brands. The Soweto Travel Shop is a virtual shop for Sowetans who want to explore. The Little League Camp SA is a child's brand which focuses on brands owned by a child. And it's amazing what the lockdown has done for me. And it's just allowed me to just hit the restart button and I'm ready to go.
Absolutely. Before we go into comments and questions from our attendees, just one last thing, Mel. You know, like you're saying, we're getting ready into the great tourism bounce back. We are now at level 2. We have reopened. And I think that reopening has really brought us a glimmer of hope. And knowing how creative and innovative, persevering and positive our people are in the tourism sector, you know, I think it's only a matter of time before our sector bounces back with more vigor and more of the amazing offerings than ever before. What are you looking forward to in terms of your travels with the ladies and your peeps? And what advice can you give for female-owned businesses during this particular time where we're at a level 2? Where do I start picking up the pieces, so to speak?
Well, you know, Anele, I've always been a person of minimal words. I get nervous, I stutter, but like you said, I love creating content because content speaks a whole lot more than words. So I've prepared a little something for everyone and for the panelists and for the attendees as well, just to kickstart our Friday, and hopefully tomorrow we'll get everybody just traveling. So I'm going to give you an opportunity to just have a view and just see how I celebrate my life and how I create content. Shall we go at it?
Happiness, go ahead.
Cool, there we go.
Maybe, Mel, if we could have the volume a bit up.
Sure. Now, Anele, for me, That is, for me, that is one of the only way that I know how to sell something is to show people what is out there. What have we been missing out on? And for me, this is how I say that tourism industry is ready to host. Gauteng is open for business, of course, observing all protocols and regulations regarding the COVID-19. But fact of the matter is that COVID-19 is not going anywhere. HIV was something, but it was something that we could not live with. But now we have to live with COVID-19. The fear needs to start moving away. And all I have to say is that to all of my lady friends and my industry companions, is that there is no fuss, no fuss, no rules. Be free and let your uniqueness show in what you do, and people will love you for that. In return, your business will thrive. Stop following the norm. Being a CEO or a founder does not give you the status and respect in the industry. Success will earn you the title as a woman of stature in the industry. So let's go out there, create new itineraries, stop copying, stop selling the same thing all over again. The convention is over. We have to be unconventional, and we need to make sure that our people in Gauteng start exploring Gauteng, and people outside Gauteng start coming into Gauteng, because we're not only a concrete jungle, but we do have attractions, as you did see. Horseback riding in the township, camping in the streets. There's so much to do. With that being said, let's celebrate women. Let us collaborate. There's nothing stopping us from becoming one. I am yet to see the day when a consortium, a hotel brand, is owned by just a group of women, and we succeed and we compete with large corporates. Enough and gone are those days where we will always be considered SMMEs. How long are we going to be SMMEs? I want to create jobs. I want to have a building where it's only women and no rules allowed. And I can sit like this and just do this, and just be a woman. Let us work together. Let us stop working against each other.
Absolute great video, Mel. I think it was a great and upbeat way to end off the presentations from our panel members. Mel, you've just reminded us that we are certainly back. We are looking forward to traveling again. Government has put together the protocols, yes, and if followed, those should really put us in good stead in bringing tourism back in a safe and in a responsible manner. I want to get into all your lovely questions and comments from the attendees. Ladies, again, thank you so much for sharing these with us. It's so exciting to see us so keen and championing the breadth of knowledge and passion that has been displayed by females in the industry. I think at this particular point, we can take discussions from our attendees. I'm going to hand over to Busi, who is assisting us from the technical team to read out all the questions and comments for the panelists. I think panelists, this will also be an opportune time for you all to share any details on how we can find you post this webinar, whether it's via email, your websites, etc. So over to you, Busi.
Thank you, and hello to everybody. This was quite inspirational. I think if all else fails, I'm actually going to get into your type of business. Well done to all the panelists. Let's acknowledge a few of the attendees who were commenting throughout the presentation. I think the last one to comment was to you, Mel, and I think to all the ladies, it's from Janine Roberts. And she was saying that, amen, Mel, you inspire me and I absolutely love you. Also, can we also request that everybody, we've opened up on the chat, if you've got any questions or any comments, you're more than welcome to actually send those chats and comments to us. And then Helen from Helen Yesa said, I like your Ubuntu spirit, Kosi, by giving back, by mentoring, making women stronger. I salute you. Well done, from Helen Yesa. Any other questions that are there? we would be happy to have the panelists actually respond to. Please note, if you go to the chat at the bottom of your screen, there's chat. You can ask any question or make a comment, and would be gladly happy to respond. Not me, but Mel or Solani or Kosi or Anele.
Yeah. Maybe we'll just give it a few more minutes, and then to hear if there's anything else from our attendees today, and then we will wrap up.
Before wrapping up, I think, Anele, this is an opportune time to also tell the attendees to tell others about the next webinar, and if they also want to attend.
Yeah, no, most definitely. I'll do it immediately after the Q&As, and then we will share all the other exciting stuff that's coming. So it's not the last time you're seeing all this beauty from all the ladies here. You're on mute, Busi.
I wasn't on mute, I was just miming, just checking if you guys are focusing. This one actually comes from, excuse me, Ayanda Kela. My voice is going. She says, well done, ladies. Very insightful today. We can't wait to get the ball rolling in tourism. This is from Ayanda Kela. And Regina Mudisane says, thanks, ladies, for the heads up.
Okay, thank you.
And I thought perhaps, so that we are not just sitting waiting, some people are slower typers, perhaps we could quickly talk about what's coming up.
Maybe, yeah, we'll, I mean, as the questions and the comments are coming in, I think we can slowly start wrapping up and maybe giving some key takes from the session.
Another question from Janet Muloti.
Yes.
She says, hi ladies, my name is Janet, a colleague in Gauteng tourism space. I just want to suggest Solani to consider a day safari tour from tourists in transit at the OR Tambo and include Morula Sun, which is liked by those from Brazil and are in transit to connect to Brazil in the evening, compared to having to go all the way to Pilanesberg. That's in the questions and answer. So Solani, there's a suggestion for you. Do you have any response? So some people are commenting on the comments, others are using the question and answers section.
You know, she's giving me a pride that now we're starting to continue collaborating. Yes. I welcome her idea, and I would really love to get her details so that we can not just talk, but act as women.
Awesome. So I think how you can talk, just send a private message to her right now. The chat section is open. You can send a private message to her and provide her with your email address or telephone number, and you guys can then chat afterwards and you can make note of it.
Thank you.
I think it's important. We're not necessarily asking people to ask questions, but just a comment. We'd like to also get an indication of how you felt about the webinar, any other issues that you probably would like to have discussed in future webinars. Would also be quite open and happy to hear about that as well.
Okay, I think while we just wait for some of the questions and comments as they come in, just to do a quick key takes from the session. I think today's discussion has made us start noting for tourism, in order for tourism to thrive, that we really need to start putting women at the center of it. And women are very important in the travel industry, not only as in the essential services and those that fulfill the essential jobs, but also as consumers. I mean, women make 80% of the household decisions. Am I right, ladies? So when it comes to travel and tourism activities, and when they start resuming, you'll start seeing that women are the ones who are most likely to make the decisions about whether to go, where to go, how, which operators to use, which brands to travel as a family unit. And placing women at the heart of travel and tourism has, as we reopen, will be necessary, not only to reflect the ongoing changes occurring in the society, as I've mentioned, but also to secure the future of an industry for which this global pandemic really now represents, I'd say, a watershed moment. You know, many businesses will struggle. Numerous jobs will be at risk for the next few years. It's furthermore known that the majority of business owners of these small and medium enterprises are women, and therefore that requires our utmost special attention. Key takes from the session really on my end.
We have another question. Sorry, Anele, another question.
Sure.
This is Nozipo Bohlela. Good day, ladies. My name is Nozipo, and I co-own a security services company. We focus on providing security services to hotels in the Sandton area for 3-4-star hotels as well. How can one get in touch, as there are innovative transformation plans which we have put in place for our exciting clients, and I'd love to share with the thriving women in the tourism industry. Thank you, Nozipo.
Is that a question for our panel members?
Yes, so basically Nozipo would like to know that how can she collaborate with other like-minded ladies, perhaps with the assistance of Gauteng Tourism, or perhaps Mel, Kosi, you know, Solani could be interested in her type of business, which is focusing on security. And we all know that we don't want to take our clients on an experience and then crime gets in the way. So that's what she wants to ask. And then there's another question from Liz Gonzalo. Liz says, hi ladies, sorry I'm late, but in time to listen to Mel, who was awesome and inspiring, driven and a breath of hope for us ladies in the industry. I hope you will share the full webinar to get to listen to the other panelists. We are ready to do business, ladies.
Absolutely, we are.
Yes,
Anele, just the question that just came in regarding collaboration in terms of security. You know, in the tourism industry, we not only focus on tours or experiences, we also focus on events. And yes. This is another platform where I think we also need to explore more. You know, when I spoke about the neighborhood campouts, that on its own is actually an event. Yes, it encompasses your tourism aspect, but it's actually an event. Therefore, I would be really pleased and open to have a conversation with her, because when we host these campouts, we do need the premises to be secured, and just so that we keep outsiders outside and insiders inside. So let's have a chat. I am on Facebook as Malprods SA. Go into the Facebook page and inbox me, and let's see how we can collaborate. After all, I'm not a tree standing all alone. I need the water, I need the sun, you know, the leaves make me look pretty. So let's collaborate, let's have a conversation regarding security. And I think with Solani as well, given the fact that you have a property that you have in there, perhaps that's another conversation to also have a look at, you know, for the security of your properties as well.
And really, this is why we have created this platform, so that we start networking and collaborating with each other. Lucy, is there anything else before we wrap up?
Yes, there is another question, and I also just wanted to request that Mel send her Facebook details for all the attendees to actually see it, because she said it, and there's the spelling involved. If you can just type it there, and then people will be able to get hold of you. And can we also do the same for everyone else? who is a panelist today. Janine Roberts says, does Gauteng Tourism have a database of Black female-owned businesses that they are able to share? This is also, I think, a question around collaboration. I see that women are now not closing off. They want to actually do business together. So perhaps, Anele, you can respond to that one.
Yes, absolutely. We are very open to collaborating with product owners, with events organizers. If you are looking for anybody specific to collaborate with, we are more than happy to assist. You can drop us an email on info@gauteng.net, or you could also share your contact details with us here on the Q&A or on the chat section, and then we will then be in touch with you. The relevant people who are managing that database will be more than welcome to, happy to assist you with that.
We have another one from Lesego Ntswe to all panelists. Well done, ladies. They are all an inspiration to women who are also, you're all an inspiration to the industry as well as to the young women who want to be on the tourism space. Thank you, GTA, for this platform. Can we not just have this platform only in tourism months on a quarterly basis so that women in tourism continue to grow? So they want more, Anele and company. And then Mel Clive says, good day to everyone. I'm Mel. All attendees can contact me on Facebook. Please, everyone, can you just check what Mel said there in terms of her details, her Facebook details? They are already up.
Absolutely, that's encouraging. You know, we really dream of a time when we can actually do this physically as well, so we can meet with each other and perhaps even share, you know, some advice over a drink or two, over a couple of hors d'oeuvres. You know, that would be really great. But it's encouraging to hear that, and we will definitely look to having more platforms where we can engage like this. And it was really great, you know, and befitting for us to have a dialogue with women within Women's Month. And I think, you know, as the year progresses and as the months go, there's definitely an opportunity for us to explore other themes and have more discussions of this nature.
Okay, so there's also Ruby Gangia. I'm sorry if I butchered your name. She says she's happy to assist with the TGCSA grading needs. So anybody needs assistance with that, you can contact her on 082 7005 0468, 082 705 0468. And then we've got Liz. Liz says, hi ladies, I was late, but in time again to listen to Mel. Okay, no, we've covered her question. Sorry, apologies.
All right. I think perhaps then let's wrap up. I'm just conscious of time at the moment. I know it's a Friday and we all have to go about our day after this, and after being so inspired, I'm ready to go book somewhere myself. So, so let me make some space there for me. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. I think just to wrap up, the key takes from the session for me really was, number one, you know, sharpen the knowledge about your clients or your consumers, you know, review your brand positioning. We've just come from a time we could have all not prepared for, and it's very important to understand what you are about as a tourism business, so that when the circumstances change, so should your brand positioning. Number two, what came out strongly as well is strategic partnerships and collaboration. Implementing and setting up those cooperatives to obviously improve on our purchasing power, you know, those joint marketing initiatives and joint selling, most definitely, and the overall pricing, the overhaul of the pricing strategy. You know, if you do your research and you analyze if you need a differentiated pricing for your domestic for the domestic tourism market, then one way to effectively do that is starting by implementing all those strategic partnerships. A third one for me really is training and retraining. It's always about sharpening the axe, because it's very important that we all keep a cool head. You know, when we are faced with something we could have never thought would have happened, but also now that there are new opportunities and digital is now in the forefront, how do we start training ourselves to understand the various platforms and to retrain ourselves so that we are even better than what we have been used to? And lastly, for me, really, it's let's be innovative through digital transformation in a 360-degree way, without necessarily losing our consumers. Think differently. Let's all go where a can-do attitude, ladies. It can be done. And I just think at this point, it's just how do we find the ways to do it? If there's really anything from our panelists at parting shots, quick 1 to 2 minutes from each of you ladies before we close and I share information for our next session.
And before the ladies go, this was a webinar that was powered by women, but men are here and they are actually watching. So from a thorn called Magic Jomo, he says, well done, ladies. This was an insightful webinar. I am extremely inspired.
Thank you.
From me, Ukosinzigalala, I would like to say thank you very much. I've learned a lot with this webinar. Looking forward to go out with the ladies to do adventure, camping, and coming to visit Kaslami Soweto. Remember, we're gonna remember a protocol, as in, but we miss traveling because we are tourism. We love tourism. We do tourism. See you soon, ladies. Thank you.
From yourself, Solani and Mal?
From my side, I would like to thank all the women who are listening and those who did not get an opportunity to come in. How can I not thank GTA for the brilliant idea in taking time to empower women to come in here? And I would also want to thank the government in GDE, whereby we are proud of Dinokeng because they keep the reserve in operation to ensure that we can be proud and take our guests to our nature, which is the game reserve. I would like to thank the government for that we have the best attraction. Safari is the best attraction for all nations and countries. So, and to women, I'm saying, let's go ahead, work together. The lady that has been asking for security, when we have showcases, we can come with such information so that they can showcase in that. We can work aside, maybe with ladies in tourism, to ensure that our showcases involve other women, not in tourism directly, but security is key in all events that we have. So we can collaborate further, even with other women not in security. Thank you. Thank you to Tshwane Tourism as well.
Mal?
Well, I have to thank the team from GTA. Safe to say that this was my first webinar. It's the first time I'm actually looking at myself, you know, so it was very terrifying. However, thank you so very much for giving me the opportunity to explore this platform. It has given me so much insight and it has given me a better way of, you know, taking my business out to the world. It doesn't always have to be on Facebook. It doesn't always have to be mouth to mouth. It does not have to always be at a trade show. But this has become a new platform for me and I'm really appreciative of that. And to other women that are in the industry, do not give up. We are not here to compete. We are actually here to give an experience to those people that really need it. Tourism for a lot of people is, I mean, traveling for a lot of people is not just, you know, for them to spend their money because they don't have anything to do with their money, but they really do work hard for their money and they really do take time to save. Let us train ourselves. Let us inform ourselves. Let us know our business in and out to make sure that we give them the experiences and we create lifetime memories for these people so that they can come back and support our businesses. The reason why people do not support our businesses and they jump from one pillar to post and compare itineraries and prices and everything, or even worse, the reason why they're not using service providers in the industry is because we don't know what we are doing. We are greedy, we don't want to share, we don't want to collaborate for the better purpose of our customers. Let us get away from that mentality of thinking, let's work together and let's be unique. Let's find those gems. Gems are not only meant to be found by the Gauteng Department of Tourism or SAT. They are also meant to be found by us, explored by us. And what happened to the normal site inspection? Create your own content. I can find the picture that you put on your social media on Google and go, oh, this person is selling me a lie. Invest in technology, invest in a camera, go out there, take real pictures, do vlogs, communicate and speak to your customers. That's the only way that they're going to trust you. And let's be loyal and trustworthy. Apart from that, let's have a wonderful, wonderful Friday and a restart button for the industry. Let's call on people to come and travel, either in Gauteng, either in South Africa, but we are ready to work, ladies. Let's get the gloves and the nails off. Let us work together.
Yes. Ladies, from myself and the Gauteng Tourism Authority, thank you so much for enlightening us today. It has been an absolute pleasure, and thank you so much to the attendees, both males and females. And thank you, for attending the session today and coming from all over and taking the time on this Friday to be with us. The Gauteng Women in Tourism discussion continues, in fact, next week, where this time around we will be hearing from the women in tourism media. And those are more specifically the trailblazers, the ones on the ground that are covering the amazing tourism stories within the province, countrywide and globally. So if you could then follow us on our social media channels for more info on that one, we are at Visit Gauteng on Twitter and Instagram, and I Love Gauteng on Facebook. We will still be responding to any other queries and comments from the section on our social media channels. I think I am now signing off. The session has officially come to a close, and thank you once again.